Dear family doctor, nurse, nutritionist, community health worker, actually, dear health professional, I presume that you always want to be the best for your patient. But have you ever thought that maybe you are missing something? When your patient has an acute cardiovascular disease, have you considered the air pollution that he or she is exposed to? Have you checked the temperature of that day? We live on a planet that has changed a lot because of humans. Even COVID is related either to our food production chain or it is worsened when the air pollution levels are higher. Is your patient depressed or feeling hopeless? Mental health can also be related to how we inhabit Earth. Talking about climate change is urgent. We cannot miss things when caring for our patients. Planetary Health studies how human health is impacted by global environmental changes. Learn more at the Planetary Health for Primary Care course, available for free and with certification. Do not miss things when taking care of your patients and be a part of taking care of our planet.
Okay.
Baseline where 50% were from high income countries and 50 from
from low and middle income countries. We have many countries from Global South. We have around the world, and I'm really, really, really happy that we are here today. Some countries are very small, and they are maybe not that visible here, but you can see it. Rwanda and Cameroon and Bangladesh. So everybody that took part on the right baseline, where 50% were from high income countries, and 50 from low and middle income countries. We have many countries. And this is our schedule. So we'll have the module 1 that will come this week. And then the course, and I'm really, really, really happy that we talking about planetary. We are here today. Some countries are very small, and they are maybe not mental health visible here, but you can see Rwanda and Cameroon and Bangladesh. Awesome. So everybody that took part in the right baseline, where 50% were from high income countries and 50 from low and middle income countries. We have many countries. This is our schedule. So we'll have the module 1 that we have like week, and then the course. And I'm really, really, really happy that we talking about planetary. We are here today. Some countries are very small, and they are maybe not part with mental health visible here, but you can see Rwanda and Cameroon and Bangladesh. So everybody that took part in the right baseline, where 50% were from high income countries and 50 from low and middle income countries. We have many countries. This is our schedule. So we have module 1 that we have like and then the course. And I'm really, really, really happy that we talking about planetary here today. Some countries are very small, and they are maybe not part with mental health visible here, but you can see Rwanda and Cameroon and Bangladesh. So everybody that took part in the right baseline, where 50% were from into our practice, and trying to translate the knowledge of planetary health to our work. So we are very aware and very cautious of it, and so that's how we organize it. And this is some of them. I will not show all, because you need to have a little bit of surprise when you're doing the course. But then the design team from Tele were awesome. I will not talk that much about Telesaúde, because Marcelo will talk a little bit more. But it's beautiful. The badges are really, and then they tell a little bit of a story of different parts of the world, from Latin America, from Africa, from Asia, Europe, and in America, and I think we made it very special. And just a little bit of the draws and how we organize it. And it's a free certification, it's free subscription, it's free. You're not going to enter in a place that's at some point you'll be they will make you pay anything. It's not a trick, and we did it, and we'll do it in the base of that everybody needs to have access to education. So it's human right education, and it's your right, and it's our right that we know about planetary health, and we do the best for our patients. So this is very briefly like how you access. Here is the website. You will click on course access. Do not forget to change the language. Some people were messaging me that was really hard. The languages are here up. Telesaúde is in Brazil, so the first language usually is Portuguese. So don't be surprised if you will not find English that easy, but it's on the up. You can find how to change the language, and then you can enter, and then you find here Planetary Health for Primary Care, and the subscription is already open, and the first module will come this week. And it also will have like certificates for each module that you do. If you don't need to take the whole course, it will not have everything available, because for the first weeks we'll be launching 1 per week, but after you'll be able to take any part of the course, and if you complete the module, answer all the questions, you will receive a specific certificate for that module. So you can have just on heat, or air pollution, or you can have from all the course. But I do really recommend that you take the whole course. That's my presentation. Any questions, I will be here. One thing that's really important is that we launched with Telesaúde the Planetary Health course, which is different from the Planetary Health for Primary Care course. This course that we are launching today, it's focused for primary care providers. So that's really important for us to understand. The other course is also available, but the content is different, the authors are different, the draws are different, the illustrations, the structure is different, and you can feel if what you prefer to take on the Telesaúde website. So that's my presentation. Thank you so much. I got back to Ethan.
Thank you so much, Mira. I think that was a really lovely overview of some of the work that's gone in. And as we said, we discussed this a bit more throughout. I think my favorite thing about this course is it had such an international and diverse authors that came together. And an example of this is the fact that Mayara, who's a rural GP over in Brazil, and it was 9 months into working together that we discovered that she had actually been living in my hometown for a year. And it really shows how interconnected family doctors are, and also how we together have come together as a community and how we need to start acting on climate action as family doctors. So as Mayara mentioned, Telesaúde have been really key in our bringing together this production, as well as Wonka. So for the next talk, we'd like to introduce Marcelo, and hopefully I don't get the pronunciation too wrong, Marcelo Gonçalves, who's also a family doctor and the coordinator of Telesaúde. And it's an absolute pleasure to have you here, as well as the adjunct professor for primary health. So I'll leave it over to you, Marcelo.
Okay, thank you, Ifa. Thank you, Mayara. For us, it's a pleasure and an honor being here, because it's an important moment to us, to telehealth, to Telesaúde RS. And hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon. We have been living a huge ecological and health crisis around the world, and the way that we human beings have dealt with the environment is a crucial issue and needs our full attention. For us, from telehealth, Telesaúde RS, a telehealth project linked to the post-graduation program in epidemiology at Federal University of Rio Grande do Sul. It is a great pleasure and an honor host the Planetary Health course and our educational platform. This initiative led by Mayara Floss with intense collaboration of our education team, beside having the participation of colleagues from several countries. This is an important answer to these challenges in our darkest hour. About Telesaúde RS, we started our mission 15 years ago and developed the expertise to support primary healthcare professionals and providers in several areas, such as teleconsultation, with more than 300,000 doubts responded, telediagnosis with almost 120,000 reported exams on ophthalmology, dermatology, spirometry, and stomatology. Our 20 courses reached approximately 70,000 PHC providers, and its methodology was adapted to this course. Well, today for us is a great day. Dear Mayara, Dr. Lee, Dr. Stadval, Dr. Enrique, and all who made this initiative possible, we sincerely hope to contribute with a better and healthy planet. All Telesaúde RS team and I wish a great and productive course for everyone. Enjoy the course. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Marcelo. That was great. And for the next speaker, we have a representative, and we're delighted. One of our medical doctors, Omnia El Amani, and she's from the International Federation of Students Association. Not only that, but she's a liaison officer for public health issues there, and she's led the delegation for the International Federation of Students at the UN and WHO. So it's a great pleasure to introduce Omnia today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I hope you can hear me well. It's such a pleasure to be part of this really special moment, especially that it has been in line with our advocacy in IFMSA. So basically, my organization represents more than 1.3 million medical students from over 134 countries worldwide. And we have been advocating for climate change and health for more than a decade. And the main area that we focused on is that we saw that there is a gap between what we learn in our own universities, in our own education, and the integration of planetary health and climate change in our own curriculum. In order to create an evidence-based sense of urgency, what we did is that we did a global survey that assessed whether climate change was mentioned or not in 112 countries. We were able to analyze over 2,817 medical schools, and we discovered that only 15% of them had a mention of climate change. This means, in other words, that more than 80% of medical schools around the world don't prepare the future health workforce that will be the first line responders to the impacts that are related to the environment and climate change. And we see ourselves as the first person to be treating the patients that would present with acute exacerbation due to air pollution and asthma, or that would have a heat stroke, or that would be depressed because of the climate inaction that they are seeing. So in order to change that, we have been to have a lot of partnerships and to work on our own medical education framework in order to build climate change and health elements to be integrated. And at the same time, we are also very supportive to initiatives like the one that we're in here now, and to really work together to prepare our care professionals who will be primary healthcare providers or doctors, whatever specialty that they are in, to really learn about planetary health in our own ways as a student-led organization through the diversity of workshops that we conduct every year, either on the ground or virtual, through our general assemblies that has over 1,000 medical students attend. And at the same time, really promote planetary health, both for medical students, not just to learn about their topic and apply it in their own workplace in a hospital, but also apply it as advocates in their own communities. So I'm really looking forward to hear more about the amazing efforts, and really congratulations on the launch of this very important course. I'm looking forward to do it as future healthcare professionals and to participate in it.
That's great. Thank you so much. And it's an absolute pleasure. That report is fantastic. We've used that ourselves, looking at medical students and how the interest is there, but actually in the curriculum, it's something that really needs to be worked on internationally. So thank you for that. Next up, we have Dr. Donald, our specialist in family medicine in Hong Kong, but also, most importantly, the president of WONCA. So not only is he president of WONCA, he's also the censor of Hong Kong College of Family Physicians and chairman of the board of Hong Kong Jockey Club Disaster Preparedness and Response Institute. He holds a BA in Cornell University and an MBBS from the University of Hong Kong. For today's purposes, he's kindly pre-recorded a 5-minute introduction to not only WONCA, but also introducing our course here today.
WONCA has been actively involved in planetary and environmental health since the early 2000s, undertaking research, supporting action and advocacy, and encouraging as many of our family doctors as possible to become involved. As world president of WONCA, I'm delighted at the collaboration demonstrated with our colleagues across the globe to develop this accessible course. Family doctors are at the front line of communities where they can advise their patients
Anna,
about
is
food
the video
choices,
running?
active
Anna Paula?
transport, energy choices, reproductive health,
Okay.
connecting to nature, reducing their personal environmental impact, and actively engaging with their communities to work together. Family doctors also influence policy at local and national levels, using evidence and examples of good practice to make changes. While there remains gaps in knowledge and understanding, there is also growing awareness of the relationship between health programs to address disease prevention and programs to reduce air pollution. By engaging across sectors, both at community and national levels, we can influence change to address issues of mutual relevance. I would strongly encourage participation in this course. Every one of us, no matter how committed we already are to improving planetary health, we can learn from the rich stream of knowledge and tools provided by this course. Irrespective of your role, be it a family doctor working in the community, an academic, or someone working in health policy, we learn more and we learn better when we work together, listen to each other's experiences, and work through the evidence together. We know more now than we have ever known about the challenges to our environment. Now we must find the tools and adopt those tools to help us mitigate those challenges and manage our planet so that it will serve us well into the future. And finally, before you embark on the course, let me thank and congratulate our Wonka Working Party on the environment for their ongoing commitment to this important issue. Thank them for this initiative and congratulate them, and Telly Saudaji for bringing the course to you.
If the video finished, you can continue.
Hello, great. So we also are very delighted to introduce Dr. Anna Stavdal, who not only is a family medicine specialist, she's worked over the last 30 years in Oslo inner city, but she's also associate professor for Oslo University, has been the vice president of Wonka from 2010 until 2016, and then stood as president from 2016 until 2018. And we are delighted that she is also taking office the following year in November 2021. Anna has brought a wealth of experience, not only to family doctors across the world, but in particular with her love of the environment. And we're very happy that she's here today introducing Planetary Health to us.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon and almost evening from Oslo. Small correction. Wonka, you're president before I stood for election, so I don't offend anyone.
Thank you.
That's important. Let me start with greeting all of you. Wherever you are, providing care to people in your community, in some places under very difficult conditions. Your effort is invaluable. Then, till today's program and the launch. Welcome, colleagues of Wonka Working Party on Environment and also Telesout. Let me begin by linking the course and the work you are doing to the concept of One Health. One Health is defined as a collaborative, multi-sectoral and transdisciplinary approach, working at local, regional, national and global levels. And for me, in the position I have now, advocacy is a big part of what I'm doing for Wonka. So this is a concept we have to relate to and get familiar with. The goal is to achieve optimal health outcomes by recognizing the interconnection between people, animals, plants, and their shared environments. The concept of One Health is not new. Still, as a policy approach, it has gained increased activity during the ongoing pandemic for obvious reasons. But policies have no value if they do not have impact. And to have impact, policies must have a solid rationale, successful implementation, and undergo a thorough evaluation. We know the quality circle: plan, do, check, act. Family doctors have a role in all the steps of this circle. We plan together with all primary health care and social care professionals. We have an excellent lookout for the communities we serve, and we are the first to observe changes in local epidemiology and environmental conditions because we are close to people over time. Reporting from the field to those who plan and fund, not least, health systems is maybe the most important part of our job in public health. To do so, we have to understand our own findings. Today's launch of the course, developed by the Wonka Working Party on Environment, aims to help us understand how everything in nature is interconnected. It shows how planetary health is reflected in the health and disease of the individual and in the health of the community. By observing and reporting, we are actively delivering fundamental insights to those who plan. And this is of high actuality to me. I was earlier today in a meeting with the WHO Euro Commission on rethinking health policies in the light of pandemic. And this is at the core of it. But we need to give input, to give it substance. So that is the do. Implementation is carried out by people, by individuals. In healthcare, family doctors are key personnel in implementing by diagnosing, treating, educating our patients, and also in prevention. That makes us key actors in defined public health strategies. We are also in prime position to explain, educate, and motivate our population to make environmentally friendly choices for the good of us all and for the good of the individual health. So implementation is a never-ending project. Courses like the one we are celebrating today are essential for the motivation and education of health professionals. The small steps we are making with patients every day add to the collective effort we are making in the local, national, regional, and global communities. Then to the last step in the quality circle, evaluation and adjustment of the plan of action. Check and act. At this stage, our role at the front line once again serves a critical purpose. We must report back. We must let those who plan know if their well-intended policies actually serve the purpose or if they didn't. We must take an active part in suggesting what might improve outcomes, the added value to adjust the content, and the setup of measures taken. Dear colleagues, I'm grateful to the Working Party on Environment for setting out to empower us to do precisely what I just described. Take an active part at all stages, even if sometimes the counter forces are strong, and they are. As the incoming president of Wonka, it gives me a feeling of support, knowing that we have formidable professionals in our community. With you, Wonka can provide knowledge, evidence, and a line of arguments in the big public debate on One Health, which we urgently must all take part in. So I wish primary care colleagues, scholars, and students within the field the best of luck with the course. Thank you for your passionate engagement with this issue. It is sorely needed. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Anna. That was such a wonderful speech. I don't think we could have summed that up better ourselves. I think you really hit upon what we aim to do here around the recovery and collaboration together post-COVID as clinicians, but also in our day-to-day lives, interacting with patients and bringing elements of planetary health to all levels. Thank you. For our next speaker, we have Enrique Barros, who is a rural GP also based in Brazil, but also is the chair of the Wonka Working Party for Environment. Anyone who knows Enrique knows how enthusiastic and energetic he is, and he's been an inspiring force to us all on working along this project. And in particular, he's done phenomenal work on the mental health side of the module on this project. So over to you, Enrique.
Just unmuting myself. Well, I want to say hi to everyone around the world. And I had to write down some notes because I'm so excited and a bit nervous. So I want to start by thanking Wonka, and here we have the president-elect, Anna. So thank you very much for all the support. From a long, it dates from, I think, 2016, where we worked together towards World Health Organization Europe Declaration on Planetary Health and Primary Care. So we have a good partnership. And I do agree, One Health is key, and their Planetary Health and One Health are really complementary, and just different languages for old issues. Well, the grant that was given to the Working Party to develop this was fundamental. I wanted to thank Andy Haynes, who's not here, but he kindly wrote a foreword. And along with Alan Abelson, they started this Working Party on the Environment. Alan, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was about 100 years ago. Yeah? So just awesome people, and Alan's such a generous guy and such a visionary and such a hard worker. And I just thank him for doing all the stuff that he's doing so well. Many times we talk about problems in planetary health and climate change problems, how it will affect. And I just wanted to mention that today, I think it was a sign. So a mom brought in a little girl, 11 years old, about the age of my son. And the mom was worried that the girl was becoming a vegetarian. And since I am in the state where we eat the most steak around the world, probably one of the states that eats most steak. So it's very easy to understand why this mom was so worried, because how can she be healthy without lots and lots of red meat? So I guess I needed to understand a bit more. And I asked her, so why are you becoming a vegetarian? And the reason she didn't say anything about health, which we talk about in the course. She mentioned climate change. And I am in a rural area with little scientific experience. And what I ended up doing was I advised her on the planetary health diet. So this is an extraordinary wave that is coming, and we need family doctors to understand what is going on. So primary care providers can be as John Fry mentioned, friends and philosophers, so that we understand where we are and we understand where we want to be at. I wanted to invite everyone to the Victoria Conference on Planetary Health, the first WONCA conference on planetary health. And we're going to develop many interesting issues that will be important not only to our communities, to family doctors, but to the world. So I want to thank everyone again and hope to see you soon. Ciao.
Thank you so much, Enrique. I think that story was really beautiful, and it sums up how we are going to be interacting with our future generations and how can we adapt to it. And the Planetary Health Diet is one example of that, and really bringing, as Anna explained, the One Health framework together for that. Now we have Christoph. And Christoph, do you want to maybe teach me some Rwandan and tell me how to say your name, your surname?
Christoph Ngendahayo.
Ngendahayo. Great, thank you. He is a medical doctor who is working with the Rwanda Ministry of Health, and he's also an MPH Global Health candidate. Not only that, but he's worked closely with Alan as a trainer on the WONCA Air Health Train the Trainer program, which is a fantastic program if anyone wants to check it out, which is also produced by WONCA and the Working Party on the Environment. So Christoph is here representing our authors today. As I explained earlier, it's a very diverse international range of authors and also reviewers, and we're very grateful for everyone's input. It's included over 25 different countries, and there's been a huge input. And as Enrique mentioned, we're very grateful to Andy Haynes in particular for spearheading this project along with WONCA and everyone else. So over to you, Christoph.
Thank you very much, Afe. Thank you very much to all preceding panelists. Dear fellow doctors, nurses, students, public health and community health practitioners from Africa and around the world, welcome. I stand before you as not as an expert, but as a concerned physician, as a concerned citizen, and as someone who wants to join hands with you in saving the health of our citizens through our daily practices as far as planetary health is concerned. Before we proceed, let us record some facts. Since the history of malaria is theorized, it's claimed to have killed half of all humans who have ever lived on this planet. This is around 50 billion. And the African region has been home to 94% of all cases and deaths. This is because all mosquitoes can survive well in the extreme rise in temperatures. Another thing, NCDs, which are cardiovascular diseases, chronic respiratory diseases, diabetes, cancers, all combined are the top leading cause of death globally, up to 73% of total global deaths, which is 41 million of deaths. All of these are linked to air pollution more than any other risk factor. Pneumonia being linked to acute particle pollution is the leading cause of deaths in children under 5 years who are dying in your hands, in or out of hospitals. Globally, around 50% of inpatients are suffering from mental health disorders, and these conditions, some of which are due to extreme heat and weather events, affect more than 1 billion around the world. So this means climate change and other environmental change have affected humankind in various aspects of our lives. It affects our agriculture sector, as it affects our food production system and our economy, causing famine, malnutrition, and people's movement, also called migration. So being just a doctor or a nurse isn't enough. We say an ounce of prevention is greater than a pound of treatment. It is time to think of our medical care that we give to our patients. Time to think of patient before we even come to they even come to seek care. In order to excel in this, we presume that you need some to understand the trends and the relationship between the planet and your patient or community health. We want you to become an active planetary health physician. 1 year ago, under the support of Wonka Environment, I joined forces with a special team of different bright and enthusiastic co-authors from different backgrounds and disciplines to develop the planetary health course for primary care, aiming to enhance the best practices of healthcare professionals and their role in combating the environmental changes and the climate change, as well as their impact on the patient and our community around the world. So this online training course is organized in 7 modules on different topics, which include planetary health and climate change, air pollution, heat, and climate-sensitive infectious diseases, food and planetary health, and so on and so forth. It's a free of charge course and is certified. We believe that it is going to impact your professional lives and probably redirect your future path, career path. I personally believe that every humankind will be affected by you, but after this course. Upon completion, you will resolve with training your fellow medical staff members, your patients, and your community as you create champions from even those who believed climate change was a fiction, as in pretending the climate change wasn't real and somehow would somehow make it go away. My friends and colleagues, we are now here to face this difficult but achievable task. We can make history or be verified by it. To be clear, that's not telling people to change their bulbs, their light bulbs, or to buy hybrid car, because the disaster itself has grown beyond the choices of individuals that individuals make. So, and also we know that there is no planet B. Dear colleagues and friends, in the name of all co-authors, I would like to welcome you again on this Planetary Health for Primary Care course, where we wanted to give you a little insight into different ways you can start handling the problem within your own hospitals and your communities. If you ever wanted to organize an activity related to planetary or have tried to start talking about planetary health in your institution, your hospital, but didn't know where to begin, this course is just for you. Inside and toward the end of each module, you can find the basics of activity management and advocacy, different types of activities, as well as some examples of real life activities. We hope the outcomes of our work will be enriching and beneficial for all of you. Remember that this course is to guide and push you in the right direction as a primary health care provider. Once you graduate in it, the sky's the limit. We can make our voices heard around the world, and the momentum should not stop. Now it's your turn. The time to answer the humankind's greatest challenge is now. We beg you to face it with courage, integrity, and honesty. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christoph. That was brilliant. I feel inspired to go out and make changes already. I think you really highlighted the challenge lies ahead, but actually with tools and with education, we can collaborate and can start to make changes and act on climate action. So not only have we an intersectional presentation here, the arts and humanities are something that in particular are extremely important in changing culture and changing language and changing thoughts. And we're delighted today to have some music from Clarissa Ferreira, who, Miara, do you wish to maybe speak a few words on Clarissa? But actually, I'm very happy for Clarissa's music to maybe speak to us instead. And she will join us today with with a performance, which is in particular regarding planetary health. So thank you, Clarissa, for being here today.
Hello. I'm very glad and grateful for being part of this event that addresses the health of our planet. Thank you for invitation, Dr. Mayara. I am going to play a song titled Sidelights, which I wrote inspired by real images of sidelights that reflect humankind's relation with the planet. From the satellite you see a mysterious galaxy that appears. From the satellite you see a whole new planet that appears. From the satellite you see the desert does just appears, glowing to the west over the ocean. The from the satellite you see space junk that just appears. From the satellite you see garbage islands in the Caribbean to appear. From the satellite you see the smoke from the forest to appear, muffling the southeast. This illusion mist flying dreams. From the satellite you see Brumadinho. From the satellite you see Mariana to disappear. Thanks.
Wow, Clarissa, that was beautiful. I think we're all virtually clapping here. Thank you, Clarissa, so much for joining us. That was really beautiful. I think having music is something that's really, really important. I'm Irish, so I've grown up around music, so in particular I really relate. But thank you so much. And finally, we're just going to have some closing remarks. I can't believe we've actually kept very well to time, Miara. So I'm delighted, and it's an absolute honour to introduce Alan, who we've grown very close, myself and Alan, together through many, many calls over the last year. Alan is not only an inspiring working force to be around. He's a family doctor in Toronto. He's assistant professor of primary care and public health. And he also highly enjoys walks in the countryside. So Alan, I'll hand it over to you for a few closing remarks, and we might have time for one or two questions afterwards, or if anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out to us.
Oh, thank you, Aoife. And questions depend on how long I talk for, but I'll try to be short. First of all, I just want to talk about the team that worked on this together. Team as friends, just such a passionate group, such an amazing group of people from all over the world, from the global south to the developed countries of the north. Huge diversity in all ways, and it was an incredible strengthening experience. My favorite quote about that is Olga Falsetto, who's from South Brazil, who was working on the mental health project. We were on a Zoom call, and she said, "Alan, you're so lucky to be working with all these young, passionate people." And I totally agreed with her. It's been such an inspiration. I want to thank Wonka. I want to thank Telesauji. We started off with an idea. Wonka gave us a little bit of money. We ran with it, and then we bumped into Telesauji, and things have taken shape. And it's remarkable how we've done. We've done this in the time of COVID, which in some ways was good, in some ways was bad. How was it good? Well, one of our writers, Shashank in Nepal, is a medical student. His medical school shut down, so he had more time to work on modules, and that was an opportunity. But many of us disappeared at times into the COVID battles, and so we struggled along. Just a few special people. I want to call out Mayara, an amazing person, incredible energy. She has great respect for evidence, but she's also a poet, and it's wonderful to have that combination. And Aoife from Ireland, the three of us just worked together so nicely. We leaned on each other. We took turns to lead, and other times we were overwhelmed. So great experiences. Memories of Mayara coming in late, having worked on the COVID wards, and then Aoife taking a call on a bus on the way home from the hospital. But we had leads for each module, we had co-authors, and we had reviewers, and they come from all over. A couple others, people to call out, and I'm leaving out people, but I'm just naming a few. Alice, who worked on so many modules and was so incredibly productive. Christoph, who you heard from, who pitched in as so much on so many modules. He was incredibly helpful. And of course, Enrique, who was there to support us, connect us with various people and keep it going. I think of the world, and I just want to make some comparisons. So I think we had a reviewer, Jenny, from the west coast of North America, and we had people from Vietnam, Nat and Quinn, working on the air module. We had people in the south of South America, the group from Brazil and Uruguay. And in North America, we had Yasin from Nunavik in the Arctic Circle, and Courtney and Yellowknife in the Northwest Territories, way up in snow country. In Africa, we had Professor Musa from South Africa being a reviewer. We went all the way up Africa into Europe, and Aoife in Ireland. And in Asia, we stretched all the way from Australia with Alice and Grant Blaschke, through Sri Lanka with Sanka, way up to the top to Nepal, Shashank working in Nepal. So we really covered the globe in an amazingly inspiring way. I just want to make one pitch that Anna talked about implementing. We're hopeful of getting funding again for the Train the Trainer program, where we actually train family doctors to be teachers and advocates in the communities, not just family doctors, primary care practitioners. And this course forms the basis of the training of those trainers. So hopefully it'll be rolled out not just in a way to educate others, but to engage others in a program that leads towards advocacy and change. And finally, I want to say that in terms of climate change and planetary health, there's this dichotomy between slipping into despair and having hope. And working on this project with all of you has given me tremendous hope. And seeing the energy that's coming out of it and the next generation that's going to carry this forward gives me tremendous hope. So thank you all, and congratulations to all of us.
Thank you, Alan. That was perfect way to end our launch today. So on that note, I would just like to extend a very, very warm thank you to all the speakers who spoke today for the launch, to everyone that Alan mentioned, all of our authors, all of our collaborators, all of the reviewers who put in time and energy during a very difficult time and a very difficult year. I think most of all this year has shown us how interconnected and how fragile the Earth is to systemic shocks. And really what we hope going forward is for doctors to gain confidence to become leaders in their fields, but also to begin to respect planetary health and to begin to think about it, get curious, and perhaps this course, it's only the tip of the iceberg on planetary health, but it's a start, and we're really hoping that people do get inspired by it. So Miara has given you the information on how to access the course. We'll be releasing the modules week by week. However, they will be available until the end of the year. And most importantly, they're free. So please feel free to share throughout the world. Everyone from all aspects as Alan explained, we have basically involved every continent except for Antarctica. So we're really keen for this to spread wide and far. And already some primary doctor schemes have reached out, and they're going to be adding this to their coursework as points. And we're very happy to hear from these people. And we've also offers for translations in French. So we really are keen for this to spread as wide as possible. So thank you again, and good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone here. And I think we're going to close.